Hi everyone, it's Alan with Earthglow. Welcome back to another new video. In today's video, we are going to be making some of the candles that I made for our December exclusives. Now, if you are new to candle making and having a candle business, I would highly recommend doing limited edition scents or scents like a monthly exclusive type of a thing, particularly for the fall and winter. I do October exclusives as well as December exclusives, and I've done this for the last couple years, and I will tell you that one of the biggest things customers love is limited editions, things that have a limited finite quantity. And so anyways, yeah, I would highly recommend doing this. Now, what I'm doing right now is I am just actually mixing some of my blends. And I always like to pre-mix them into like a 16-ounce bottle. It just saves a lot of time later, so you don't have to blend each time you are pouring an individual fragrance into your beakers. What I will then do is label the bottle that I have made the blend in. So for example, this one here is Forest Lore Snow, which is a blend of Stone Candles Spiritus Sancti, as well as Candle Science Mistletoe. Really loved how this blend came out. And then I'll always just kind of make sure to swirl it right after I blended it, as well as before I use it each time. I don't notice a whole lot of separation at all, but I don't think that it hurts to give it a nice swirl, just in case there is a small amount of separation. Now, as you can see behind me, we have the 1617 Evermore bowls. I've had a number of you ask me where I purchased those bowls. I bought hundreds of them when 1617 went out of business. Before they went out of business, and I've just still had some stock because I don't use these bowls a whole lot. The white ones I've only used for limited editions, and the black ones I've used just for our extra large Wanderlust candles. But I would like to find a source for these bowls because I think that they're a really nice way for your customers to get that max hot throw. So if you know anywhere, please leave it in the comments. You'd help out a lot of other makers. Now, the wax that we're using today is CB2. This is the wax that 1617 used to sell as number 7. I have a whole video talking about how I know this as well, and I will have that linked above. Now, this wax you can get from several different suppliers. This year, a lot of suppliers did stop carrying it, and that is because there was a price increase from the manufacturer, which is Cal Wax. Now, unfortunately, this wax was already at a higher price point, and I do believe, I don't know this for a fact, but I do believe with the increased price even beyond what was already high, it's just caused a lot of suppliers to no longer carry this wax. But I will tell you that if you're looking for a single pour with really good hot throw and great jar adhesion, and that's easy to wick, CB2, and that's a predominant soy wax. I mean, there's only a minuscule amount of food grade paraffin in this wax. CB2 is probably my top recommendation to you. Now, I haven't had much experience with this wax in wood wicks. For wood wicks, I use my own custom blend, and I've also used some of the Seda Serica coconut apricot wax, and I would say both of those work generally well. But the CB2 is what I've used for the majority of our 3-inch diameter containers because they can be so hard to wick with a wax like Coconut Apricot by Cal Wax or a number of other ones like 6006, because those waxes typically don't reach the outer edges of the container even when the container is properly wicked. Whereas something like a CB2 or a ProBlend 600 or Candle Science's new coconut apricot wax are all going to have a much easier time of reaching the outer edge of a 3-inch diameter container. If you guys want more content specifically on these types of topics that get a little bit more into the science of candle burning and kind of what waxes do what, please let me know. I don't always know what you all want to see, And I can tell you that I've done, like, behind the scenes, a lot of testing with all of these waxes over the past couple of years. Mostly out of my own curiosity, but also just because I have a number of you that use them and will ask questions. So for me to be able to really answer those questions, I have to have experience with a lot of frequently used waxes. So anyways, I typically stir CB2 for about a minute. That is overkill. You can usually just get away with 20 seconds, 30 seconds. And I always heat this wax above 200 degrees. Now, I use a stick thermometer, and typically I like to get that above 200 to 205. No higher than like 215 with my stick thermometer. If you're using just an infrared thermometer, you want to make sure that you're stirring prior to shooting that temperature, and you're going to want to make sure that you get this wax up to, I would say, 215 to 220. Your infrared thermometer is typically going to read higher than the temperature actually is. Now, I've talked about this in a number of previous videos, but if you don't already have a stick thermometer, it's going to be one of the best investments that you can make in your candle making career. I'll have the one that I use linked below. It's under $10, and that is going to give you those really precise readings like a candy thermometer. Because it's really important that you know what temperature your wax is at so that you can add the fragrance at a temperature that it will adequately bind to those wax molecules when they are fully expanded. So this wax, as I said, it's super easy. You'll see how beautifully these set up after they are poured. Now, like with almost all my candles nowadays, I am using a piston funnel to pour. And these just help me tremendously, especially when you have multi-wicks and you have these wick centering tools that kind of get in your way. It is going to minimize your spilling tremendously. I know I talk about this like a broken record, but I'm here to tell you, if you haven't tried one, it's going to be another fantastic investment. And as always, I have the one that I use linked below in my Amazon storefront. But I typically keep like 4 of these on hand, and then I'll just kind of clean them out with a heat gun and then some paper towels after I'm done using them. Now, if you immediately after you have poured your wax use paper towels, you'll be able to get most of the wax out, and you might not even have to use a heat gun at all. But if you aren't able to catch your piston funnel before your wax has fully solidified, you will need to use just a heat gun to get that wax kind of loosened up, and then you're able to use just like some paper towels to kind of blot any remaining wax out of there. And if you are still noticing that there is a fragrance after you have done that in your piston funnel, you can just take some rubbing alcohol and use that to get the remainder of your fragrance out and make sure that there's no cross-contamination. Now, if you are using a lot of the same scent families, like say you're gonna make all clean scents or all bakery scents, you very rarely will need to do this with the rubbing alcohol. But if you're going from like a floral to a food scent, you know, you more than likely will want to make sure that you go ahead with that rubbing alcohol on top of the paper towels and heat gun. Now, I use that same technique with my pouring pitchers as well. And I will typically basically dirty all of them up. I have about 10 to 12 pouring pitchers. And then once they're all dirty, I will take a couple hours and just go through, heat gun all of them, blot out that remaining wax with some paper towel, and let them just kind of dry and cool down before I put them back on my shelf. And most of the time that takes care of everything. But for some really strong, particularly like floral scents or food scents, I will have to go in with rubbing alcohol just to make sure that I've gotten everything possible out so that there's no cross scent contamination. If you guys would like more content specifically on my process for doing this, just let me know in the comments. Now, this blend that I'm pouring right now is the Forest Lure Snow, and I think I made about 12 or 13 of these large candles, and they did all sell out. And a lot of you told me that you really enjoyed this scent, and I'm super excited. Now, I will tell you the Spiritus Sancti fragrance is very expensive. It comes from Stone Candles, and if you go on their website, you'll see a 16-ounce bottle of this retailing for like, I don't know, close to $100 or maybe even more. If you are a candle maker, you don't have to pay that. You can sign up for their candle maker discounts and get that scent. I think I paid $45 for a 16-ounce bottle. Most of their fragrances are like that. They'll show as being marketed for like over $100 or $70 or something really high. But if you sign up for their free Candlemaker discount, and yes, you have to have business information. They don't want just anybody signing up for it that makes candles as a hobby. But those of you who are business owners, you can get a substantial discount on these fragrances from Stone Candles. There's a lot of them that I can even get a 16-ounce bottle for like $35. Some of them even a little bit less than that would otherwise retail for like 60 some dollars. Anyways, you can also see that I'm blending in the last of my Cahiers 23, and that is for our Havana candles. Those are in the black Evermore bowls. A lot of those did sell out as well. I'm super, super happy about it. But you guys can see how these set up too. No heat gunning, just gorgeous, single pour. And look at the jar adhesion too. Like there's very few waxes you can say that about. Now this next one that I'm making is gonna be our Kathmandu candle. And that one uses a Stone Candles fragrance. You'll notice I do use a lot from Stone Candles and from 1617 for our luxury collection. There's a little bit from Candle Science, but I'm very selective about it. And I will tell you that since 1617 is closed, I have mainly been getting my scents that I purchased from them in the past from AFI. Now, you do have to spend like $2,000 minimum, I believe, to order fragrances now from them. But you can order, as long as you're getting like 10 pounds at a time, you can order a lot of different fragrances that 1617 used to have. And that's the best way that I've been able to do it. Now you can see these are the next ones, which I was doing a blend of a bunch of, or not a blend, I was doing a mix of a bunch of different Wanderlust XLs and some of our XLs for our December exclusives in this video. And I meant to have this whole video out a lot sooner, but I just didn't get to it. You guys will see why later. I'm launching a whole new line that is also going to be available for wholesale, which is something that, as you'll know if you've watched my content lately, I'm really expanding and wanting to expand in 2025. Like that's one of my primary goals. I've also been dealing with, admittedly, a lot of burnout lately. It's hard for me to talk about because I love being busy, but the last few weeks of what was supposed to be like my winter break have been absolute chaos. So I spend on average about 60 hours on my business per week. And if you have a business of a similar scale, you'll know it's a lot. I don't have any staff, so I'm doing everything from the making of these products to, you know, the fulfillment of the orders, websites, design, promotions. I don't do a whole lot with that, but I mean photography, product descriptions, you know, all of it. And I have been so behind on producing content for you guys. And that's something that I really enjoy and that I really want to make sure that I'm doing. So I've decided this semester to take a break from, I normally just take a chemistry class. It's a single 5-credit lab class every semester. I've decided to take a semester or two off and put everything into my business. And I know that that's a big leap, but that's what I really need to do right now for my mental health. And I feel like for my business, in order to take the wholesale to where I want to, I need to have more time to dedicate to that avenue specifically. And I just have not had it. I have been maxed out just with fulfilling orders and making product. And I haven't even been producing as much content as I want to. So this is something that has been really hard for me. I love learning, like academically in school, but I love my business even more. And right now, that's just kind of where I'm at. So I just wanted to be transparent with you all, with kind of where I've been a little bit. I'm also going to be out from the end of April through a couple months into summer. I'm having a phalloplasty surgery, and if you guys know anything about what I've gone through in my own health journey, that's a really big, important step for me. I haven't announced it publicly on this channel, and I was debating whether or not I would do that, but if you've watched this far in the video, that's what I'll be having at the end of April. So I'll be in Texas for a month and in the hospital, if everything goes well, for a week, and in ICU for a couple days, and then I'll have another surgery after that one as well that will be planned if everything goes well. That's kind of a second stage. But I'm really excited about it, but it's a lot. And I want to make sure that I have time to prepare mentally and physically for a 6 to 8 hour surgery for the first stage. So anyways, yeah, that's kind of where I've been. There's a lot insurance-wise that I've had to navigate, as well as booking everything in terms of the kind of travel, the Airbnbs and the plane tickets and everything, and making sure I have the right medical supplies and whatnot. So I've been kind of a little bit quiet on these platforms, and full transparency with you, that is why. I've missed you all tremendously, and I do plan in the coming months leading up to this procedure to post more content as much as I'm able to within, you know, as I mentioned, also having healthy boundaries and making sure that I'm taking care of myself. Producing content on this channel is one of the things that brings me the most joy. I can't tell you all how much I love interacting with you. Even if I don't respond to your comments, I read every single one of them, and it makes me so happy to think that these videos could be helping other small business owners. Even if it's just you're watching it to have in the background when you're making products or for relaxation. Anyways, this is the Orange Zest and Holiday Ginger Candle. This is a blend of Stone Candle's Spicy Clementine and Candle Science Ginger and Spice. This was another one that did really well. I think I made 28 of the concrete candles in the 3-inch tulip size, as well as like 5 or 6 of the triple wick tulips or triple wick Amazon oval molds. And then I made another like 8 or 9 of them in the 1617 Evermore bowls in the white. And every single one of them sold out except for one of the tulip ones that I actually pulled because it was not quite the quality that I wanted on the website. The jar didn't look as good as the rest. So I'm incredibly grateful to say that my candle business has been doing really well and growing, and I'm excited for the next chapter to see how this goes, putting everything into this and having you all right along with me on the journey. I'm just giving these candles a little bit of a heat gun on a few of them. Sometimes when I trim the wicks, it will cause the area where the wick has been to just look a little bit not as smooth. So I'll just kind of heat gun the whole candle. You can use a creme brulee torch on a really low setting like this, or just a standard heat gun to do that. And I don't even really think it's necessary, but I kind of enjoy it, and I really like that really smooth look. I also want to thank a number of other folks who have been really kind to me and open-minded and accepting of me, and just left really sweet comments in some of my other videos where I've been more open about my health journey and also being a trans guy and going through a lot of surgical procedures in order to become the truest version of myself. And I've come in contact with a lot of people who are either like me or know someone like me going through what I'm doing. And it's so cool and incredible to be able to connect with each one of you. I'll also have all the packaging supplies that I'm using linked in my Amazon storefront. These boxes, for example, I get on Amazon for a little over $1 a piece, and I think that they really add to the look of the final product. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, it would mean the world to me if you'd give it a thumbs up. that pushes it out to more people, or a thumbs down if you didn't enjoy it and you'd like some other form of content from me. I'm sending all of you guys peace, love, and light, and I'm wishing all of you happy candle making. I would like to take the time to thank my patrons for their incredible support.